Today, we're not going to talk about all the books I didn't get to in July. We're just going to celebrate the ones I did. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Jamila and today I'm going to be doing my July wrap up and show you guys all the books that I read in July. My TBR was stacked for July. It was very ambitious for the fact that I was moving, but honestly, I think I did a good job for to say that my move was a hot mess catastrophe. So many crazy things happened while I was trying to pack and move, and it was just like a struggle. So I think I did a good job. I mean, depends on who you're asking, but yeah, I actually did better than June. I think I read 3 books in June, but yeah, so let's just get into it. So the first book I read in the month of July was Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. You guys saw my reaction to finishing this book in my July reading vlog, and honestly this book was amazing. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I just thought it was absolutely fantastic. I just feel like Scythe and Thunderhead are such unique books. I feel like Neil Shusterman knows how to deliver an ending that keeps you intrigued enough to keep reading. The end of Scythe had me like, oh wow, okay, I need to know what happens in the next book. And then I read this one and I got to the end and I was like, oh my god, it's going down. It went down. I don't know what's about to happen in this next book. Like, this book was so freaking good. And I have to say, well, I don't want to say that I never really read books like this, but I don't think I've read any book like this, and I love that. If you haven't given Scythe a chance, definitely give it a read because this series is just so good. I know that a lot of people say that the romance kills it for them. Is it weird that I don't really notice any romance going on? Like, obviously, like, you know, there's a little bit of like, oh, I like that person, but I just don't recall any like in your face romance really. So I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I do think these two characters went through something together and that connects them in a way. But I don't know, maybe it's just my perception. But I definitely enjoyed this book thoroughly. It's definitely so good, especially if you like futuristic societies and AI, like spinning AI on its head and just like, yes, like definitely give this a chance if you haven't. The next book I read in the month of July was The Fate of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. This book was so good to me up until it got to the end. This whole series was so good to me up until it got to the end. I was expecting so much more from the ending, and now I understand why people say that the ending to the series is disappointing. I felt the same way. I felt like, I don't know, I felt like I had so many questions and she had all the opportunity to answer these questions, and instead she chose a cop-out as the ending. And I'm just like, sis, why? This could have been one of my favorite series of all time and you just wrecked it, sis. You just destroyed it. You stomped it into the ground, and I'm very hurt. But it was just such a good series with a lot of promise, and the end just didn't do it for me. Now, I wouldn't say that you should just not read the whole series because I thought it was a decent series. I ended up giving this book 3 stars because there were elements that I really enjoyed, and all of the other books I gave them 4 stars, but this one got docked a star because of the ending. I don't think this is a 5-star series, but it was definitely entertaining and it had me wondering on a lot of things. Like, I had questions, I needed answers. I did not receive all of those answers, and that's why I'm bitter. So I don't know what to say, but just why did you have to do this to me? Like, we had a connection and then you ruined it. Like, you really ruined it. The Fate of the Tearling was definitely a letdown at the end, and it was getting so, like, it felt like the climax was coming and then it was just boom, anticlimactic. So yeah, this got a 3 stars from me. The series as a whole, I guess is around 4 stars, 3.75 stars. It was a good series. I may be inclined to maybe reread the first and second book, but I probably would not pick up this one again just because I know that the ending is disappointing. I don't know, we'll see. This cover promised me more and it did not deliver. So the next book I completed in the month of July was The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. Now, I do think this is definitely one of my favorites now, but let's get into it. The Poppy War is not going to be for everybody. I can tell you that now from reading it. I can understand why some people do not like this book. If you are a fan of Chinese martial arts films, if you love mythology and learning mythology of different cultures, if you love a strong female character, if you like historical fiction, if you like any of those things, you will probably enjoy this book. And if you don't mind violence. But if you do not like those things, you will not like this book. And I understand too how some people say the pacing or the tone of the book is a little bit different in the first half versus the second half. It really is different tone in the first half versus the second half, but I think that's because obviously it's two different times in the timeline, I guess you can say, and like two vastly different things going on. I'm actually glad that it all happened in this one book instead of being split into 2 books to have, you know, her being in school versus her in the middle of this war. I don't want to explain too much because I personally like to go into my books not knowing anything, and that's kind of how I went into this book. I only knew very basic information about what this book was about, so I feel like that also upped my enjoyment of this book. I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. I thought that Runin was a very likable character because of how strong and driven she was to change her fate and not take what everyone said was supposed to be her life as what she had to do. But then it also showed the realities of the choices she made and what she would have to endure based on those choices she made. So I thought for a first novel this book was very good. I feel like R.F. Kuang did a very good job developing characters, giving them a drive, having a plot. Although the plot wasn't as tight as it could have been, it was enough for me. And honestly, really enjoyed a few of the characters, and I enjoyed how like petty disputes and grievances before they get to the war part of it are put aside when they realize that this is bigger than us. Like, this war, it means more. Like, they were able to put aside their childishness to become adults, and that, I don't know, to me that shows growth. I gave this book 4.5 stars. I thought it was really great, but it was missing some things to be a 5-star book for me. I just think that it was very well executed, but I do say steer clear if you do not like violence and descriptions of extreme cruelty, because there is a lot of descriptive violence in the book, but towards the end it gets very descriptive in the cruelty that happens during the war. So yeah, but I mean, to me it was to be expected in a book about war, you know. Definitely recommend it. It was very good, and I can't wait to read The Dragon Republic. I don't remember when it comes out, but I'm very excited for it. And this book is just gosh dang beautiful. Oh my goodness, like, this book is so pretty. I love when a pretty book like really fills my heart with the content inside. Yeah. So the next book I read in the month of July was Illuminated by, I always forget the lady's name, Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Yeah, you guys, I finally read it. It's been on my TBR like 2 times. Yeah, anyways, I finally read it and I feel so accomplished with myself. Like, I feel so proud. Anyways, all right, so I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I thought it was really good, really entertaining, although in the beginning of the book I was not hooked. I was not interested. I was a little bit confused. Like, it just wasn't really doing it for me at first. But I picked up the audiobook and I read it while listening to the audiobook, and baby, that really enhanced the experience for me. I think it was just like my brain works weird, and it just helps me to have like reinforcement sometimes when I'm not as interested in a book, to just read the book with my eyes and listen to it with my ears as well. I don't know, sometimes that just helps me focus and be able to really take in the story. But the audiobook, by the way guys, is really good. It's a full cast, it keeps you engaged, like it has sound effects, it's really good. When I tell you, after like 100 something pages, I got super invested. Beesh, I was sitting there like, oh my goodness, oh look out, okay, oh my god, oh she's gonna die, he gonna die, everybody gonna die. Like, I was invested. And it just, at one point in this book, it was so intense that I felt myself like tensing up, like my eyebrows were like, oh my god, like I was really shooketh. Yeah, I was really worried I was not gonna like this book, but as you can see, I ended up enjoying it a good bit, and I'm just so freaking happy and relieved that I did end up enjoying it, because this heifer right here bought the other 2 books in the series, and I was gonna say, like, how the heck am I gonna pick up these other books if I don't enjoy this one? But it actually ended up being very quality content. So yeah, I liked it a lot. I definitely say that I didn't expect to like it, that's for sure. So if you don't expect to like it, give it a chance. If you like kind of like, I don't know, like stuff in space and like spaceship science fiction-y stuff, and like chase and like almost like kind of apocalyptic type of stuff, and like science and like all these things, like you would probably end up liking this book even if you're not as invested in the beginning. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I can't wait to get to Gemina. I think it's gonna be really good. I know it doesn't follow the same characters, and I think I'm okay with that. I think, because at least I know from the beginning. I recommend it, 4 stars, boom bam, that's done. Okay guys, so the last book I read in the month of July was the wonderful, the acclaimed, the constantly talked about, constantly hyped 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. You guys, I really did enjoy this book a lot. I do not own this book, but I will one day. I ended up wanting to read this book so badly because of Isabella from Throne of Pages, and I heard a lot of people talk about this book, but she's the only one that sold it to me. She's the only one that made me think, okay, I'll be missing out if I didn't read this book. And by her suggestion, I listened to the audiobook, which was amazing. I really enjoyed the audiobook, and it was not on my TBR. This book was not on my TBR at all. I had so many other books that I need to read, but somehow when the holds came through at my library for Evelyn Hugo, I was like, I think I gotta read this, and I'm glad I did, because your beach was shook, because this book was just so well written. I don't know, like, okay, so I want to say I love Evelyn Hugo. Like, I love that she's just like so unapologetically who she is, and she does things without feeling sorry about it necessarily, because she knows it's what needs to be done. And she's the type of person that even if somebody else doesn't have the gall to do it, she's going to do it. She's going to get it done. She's going to do what she needs to do to secure her future, and she is not sorry, okay? She is not sorry. I do honestly feel like I did know too much about this book. I don't like knowing a lot about books that I'm going to read. I just want to know enough to be interested. So I did not expect how things played out, but expect certain things to happen, which I don't necessarily like when I read books. I just like to have some blindness going in and things be more of a surprise. But even knowing some of the things that I did before going into the book, it didn't make the book any less good. Like, I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. I think it was a very good book. It didn't necessarily have all the elements that make a 5-star book for me, or I don't know, maybe I just need to read it again, because I was packing while listening to it and some of the details, smaller details, I might have missed, but I gave it 4.5 stars. It was very, very good. It felt like this woman was real. It felt like this really happened. She really decided to call up this reporter and have her report on her life and all the secrets of her 7 husbands, and she's really from the time period it said she was, and she was in movies and she was in Little Women. Like, honestly, I believed that Evelyn Hugo was real, and to be able to tell a story like that and have a fake character become a real person in the reader's heart, that is talent, honey. Now, I don't know if I'd read any more of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books because I don't want to hinder my experience with this one. I've heard that, what is the other famous one? Daisy Jones and the Six. I've heard that that one's good, but I'm a little apprehensive about trying it just because it doesn't sound like something I would necessarily like, and I heard a lot of people don't like it more than Evelyn Hugo. I don't know, we'll see. I might have to dibble and dabble into that one, but yeah, Evelyn Hugo is definitely recommended, I think, personally, because it was just like, it's the epitome of tea spillage. Like, all the tea was spilt, honey, and if you like for tea to be spilt, you will enjoy this book, okay? So yes, thank you, Isabella, because I would not have had this book in my life without you, sis. Definitely gonna buy it and reread it because just all the tea. I need to talk to someone about this. Peace. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching me ramble like an idiot, because that's pretty much my brand. Thank you for watching me ramble, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.